shortage and deficit of trust.
China is suffering a serious trust deficit.
States to declare bankruptcy.
Kim Jong Un has passed away.
Avoid confusions. Iwasan ang gulo. Siguraduhin nakalap na balita ay totoo. Dito ka sa aking channel, Money Guru.
China is suffering a serious trust deficit. The pandemic is taking a toll on its ties with the world. And some countries have begun acting. Sweden, for instance, it has shut down Chinese schools in the country, what we call Confucius Institute.
The Chinese state-sponsored teaching program has been brought to a halt.
The US, too, saw the closure of one earlier this year. Our next report tells you more.
In January this year, the University of Maryland in the US, too, cancelled the Confucius Institute affiliated with it.
Li Zhihua, a Chinese citizen journalist, posted a video on social media on April 22nd. It's his first video since going missing in Wuhan nearly 2 months ago. He went to Wuhan in February to report on what he saw there. On February 26th, he was arrested by police. One netizen commenting, "This video looks like a hostage reading a manuscript, but as long as you're safe, it's good." There's a new movement growing in Italy of people wanting to sue the Chinese regime for the pandemic. An online petition just launched lets Italians affected by the virus seek compensation from Beijing. The head of the organization behind the movement, One Europe, estimates over 500,000 will sign, and the compensation sought could exceed 100 billion euros. And a popular hotel in the Italian Alps is also suing China for damages. It says China failed to inform the WHO in a timely manner, causing the pandemic to spiral out of control. The hotel was fully booked for the ski season, but suffered devastating losses as all hotels were forced to close on March 12th. This follows lawsuits from India and some U.S. states. British think tank Henry Jackson Society published a 44-page report analyzing the legal basis for suing Beijing over the virus.
In 2015, the UK threw a lavish welcome for the Chinese regime's leader, Xi Jinping. Cameron even took Xi out for a pint. By the end of Xi's visit, the two countries signed over $60 billion worth of deals.
Indeed, we're attracting more investment than Germany, France, and Italy put together.
But last year, new questions emerged about CGN's involvement when the company was blacklisted by the U.S. Commerce Department for attempting to steal nuclear technology. Chinese investment in the UK covers many areas, from the famous London black cabs to Heathrow Airport, from Barclays Bank to Thames Water. But it's most often focused in the energy sector. Chinese investment peaked in 2017, reaching $20 billion. In comparison, the Netherlands received less than $4 billion, and Germany less than $2 billion in the same year. Aside from investment, trade between Britain and China also doubled within a decade. And with the UK now out of the European Union, Downing Street is free to hammer out a new trade deal with China. It was the first Western country to become a founding member of the AIIB, short for Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Launched in 2016, the China-led $50 billion project was designed to provide infrastructure funds in Asia. And the most recent example of the UK's deep economic ties to China, the country's decision to open the 5G market to Chinese telecom giant Huawei. Huawei has been operating in the UK for 2 decades, and it's a major supplier to Britain's biggest telecom company, BT. Despite the U.S.'s repeated warning, Johnson's government decided in January to include Huawei in the rollout of the country's 5G networks. But now anger is rising at the Chinese regime for its handling of the pandemic. Johnson is under increasing pressure to reassess the Chinese regime's position as a trusted partner. And last week, the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee warned that those helping Beijing to target British businesses would face scrutiny.
All right, well, that was Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell facing backlash now after saying that he favors allowing states to declare bankruptcy, rejecting calls for a federal bailout of states that are struggling to pay their bills amidst the pandemic.
And let's keep in mind, we've spent trillions of dollars to try to keep our economy held together, to keep small businesses and families and jobs. But there was $150 billion. That $150 billion is just starting to get to states. Each state was given an allocation based on population, and then the states and local governments have access to that money to get them through the COVID-19 crisis. And so, as some governors that were having financial problems before this crisis, keep in mind, are talking about a bailout for themselves, so they have that money before they start talking about a bailout from the federal government for problems they had prior to COVID-19. Well, let's make sure that this money that was spent, that they're just getting now, is spent properly.
Yeah. It's one of the dumb statements of all time. How does that help the national economy? States should declare bankruptcy. He then says this is a bailout to the blue states, which was a really offensive statement.
According to political, economical, cultural, military, and journalistic analysis, Kim Jong Un, the leader of North Korea, has passed away. CNN has reported that Kim Jong Un's health is currently facing grave danger because of his surgery. However, I don't think that CNN has properly understood Korean culture. South Koreans and North Koreans are the most diligent people in the world. Koreans feel guilty unless they work at all times. There are dozens of reasons why Kim Jong Un has already passed away. Kim Yo-jong, who is going to be the post-leader of North Korea, will try to conceal the fact that Kim Jong Un has already passed away. And Kim Yo-jong will announce that Kim Jong Un is recently receiving medical treatment at the hospital. And eventually, Kim Yo-jong will take control as the post-leader of North Korea. This is not a joke.
Thanks for checking his YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more video, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.
Kung hindi pa kayo nakapag-subscribe, paki-click ng subscribe button at paki-share na rin para maraming mga kaibigan natin ang masiyahan.